It's a pleasure to be here, joining you this morning. To all the government representatives in the room, welcome. To our partners, Hive Collab, and your leadership, led by Barbara Mutabazi. To all your EdTech innovators, our ecosystem partners, members of academia, private sector actors, development partners, and the media, you're welcome. And to my colleagues from the Mastercard Foundation, it's very nice to have you join us here in Uganda. But most importantly, to all the young people who have participated and who will participate in these initiatives and get impacted by them, we're very glad that you can be with us today. This is the beginning of a collective journey to reimagine how technology can serve learning, can serve opportunity, and can serve dignity for Uganda's young people. And we're glad to be on this journey with Hive Collab. So today we're here to move beyond just admiring innovation to backing those who are building it locally. At the Mastercard Foundation, we are executing what we call the Young Africa Works strategy. And the Young Africa Works strategy seeks to enable 30 million young people, especially young women across the continent, access dignified and fulfilling work by 2030. We're in 2026 now. So we've been on this journey for quite a while, and I'll share with you how we're doing. But more specifically in Uganda, we are seeking to support 4.3 million young Ugandans, about 3 million of them being young women, to access meaningful economic opportunities by 2030. And we specifically, it would be remiss of me not to say this, but we have a very specific focus on including refugees and displaced persons, as well as persons with disability. 30 million young Africans is what I said the foundation was seeking to enable access, dignified and fulfilling work. As of this year, as of last year actually, I can say we have been able to register about 17.5 million young people accessing work, dignified and fulfilling work towards our goal. So we're almost there. However, we need to accelerate the effort. And this initiative here is one of those that will help us move towards accelerating that effort. For us to enable this to happen, we have to work to support as many young people as possible in Uganda and across Africa to access education and financial inclusion. Now, education is critical. In fact, if not the most critical component in accelerating somebody's pathway to sustainable prosperity. So why are we doing this fellowship? And why are we doing it in Uganda? And why are we doing it now in Uganda? I think it's important for us to answer those questions so that you appreciate the relevance of the effort that was made by the young people who you'll see later today, and the intention of how we're going to move forward, going forward. So Uganda stands at a critical intersection. We have a very fast-growing youthful population. We do have expanding digital infrastructure, and we have an increasing demand for the relevant learning outcomes. If you put all those things together, then you'll know why you're in the room today. We are no longer asking, can technology support education? We are now leveraging technology as a catalytic enabler to open up learning in and out of the classroom through local innovation. I hope you hear me state local innovation, because it's important that we develop sustainable outcomes that drive innovation where we are, because that's the only way it will remain sustainable. Too often, EdTech is treated as a collection of products. Yeah?
Yes, you can hear me.
This Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship takes a different point of view. EdTech is the vehicle for opportunity. It is a system of actors, a system of policies and practices that must work in harmony together. And EdTech entrepreneurs are not just solution builders. They are system influencers, and they need support to align their solutions to national education priorities. So let us ground ourselves in Uganda's reality. The most powerful innovations here will not come from the global models. They will come from understanding our teachers' constraints and solving for them. Designing a low-resource, high-potential environment. Building for equity, not just access, but meaningful participation. And Uganda does not need imported answers. It needs amplification of local intelligence to include our talent in solving educational challenges. When locally rooted innovation meets thoughtful design and public and private collaboration, technology can help bridge and not widen the educational divides. For impact to be felt, it takes a collaborative effort. So the EdTech Fellowship in Uganda is not a do-it-alone initiative. Yeah? We need the government buy-in. It's critical. We need the private sector actors. We need educators. We need innovators. And dare I say, we need to add storytellers. This will help us transform our ways of learning. As I said, we are accelerating our digital infrastructure in the country. But this infrastructure should complement the technology-enabled learning under the Uganda's new education curriculum. Again, these solutions in EdTech are speaking to our future ways of learning. For our educators to truly adopt EdTech, we need to work with government institutions to test our solutions. Most of our young people learn through these institutions. So if you're making these solutions in isolation, it doesn't serve the greater need. Our solutions need to have as much access as possible. And we need to include the rural areas. We need to include access to people who ordinarily wouldn't be able to access it using regular technology. If they're persons with disability, they need to be able to access these solutions. And so this EdTech Fellowship is seeking to start bridging those gaps. If our solutions can work, for example, in the rural areas, then they can work anywhere in Uganda. So if you solve for the most difficult problem, then you make it inclusive universally. So let's have that in mind as we deliver all these solutions. As we deliver and implement the EdTech Fellowship in Uganda, let us prioritize our young people's learning needs. The young people are not passive participants, but active participants in designing the solutions that work. This morning I was listening to the radio, and it dawned on me that when I was learning, the system that was built for me to learn was built for a smaller set of people. The population was significantly not as large as it is now. We are still applying the same techniques today as we did many, many years ago. These EdTech solutions are helping us come to today and deal with the realities of the population as we speak. One of the most critical things in how we deliver our programs is ensuring that the environments under which these programs are delivered are safe to enable young people participate freely and really reach their full potential. So safeguarding, especially with the work that we do, is not negotiable. As we accelerate all these solutions out there online, safety, dignity, and the well-being of the users of these solutions must be a fundamental part of our business models. So we must protect those young people as they interact with your technology solutions. At the Mastercard Foundation, safeguarding standards are upheld to the highest standard to protect the young people from harm, from discrimination, and exploitation, whether in education, innovation, user experiences, or in entrepreneurship. So I'll pause there for a second, just to make sure that we are clear. As we deliver all our programs, we must maintain a safe environment. And with technology, we have to build safeguards within that space to allow for people to access it with the freedom that they require. So let me throw a challenge out there, especially to the fellows. You're not here because your ideas are safe. You're here because your ideas have the potential to challenge the existing models of education and demonstrate to our decision makers and to the system that we indeed can transform the learning experience in Uganda through technology and enabled innovations. You must be bold because you're shifting a mindset. I told you I learned 30 years ago in a different system. That system may not necessarily be applicable now, especially if we're looking to the future. And these EdTech solutions are a catalyst to helping us get to that space. As I said, you must use this space and build boldly, test rigorously, collaborate intentionally, and most importantly, stay accountable to the learners you aim to serve. So the call to action to all of you is that the future of education in Uganda will be shaped by what is built, tested, adopted, and scaled from platforms and programs like the Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship. So let us kick off, not to be remembered as an event, but as a turning point where EdTech moved us closer to impacting more young Ugandans by opening up learning beyond the classrooms through Ugandan-owned, Ugandan-led innovations. So while the entrepreneurs are being accelerated under this fellowship will receive equity and some funding, this program goes beyond this. Yeah? It will allow the fellows to gain access to global and regional expertise, deep mentorship, learning science and impact measurement support, pathways to scale sustainably within Uganda and beyond. To the first cohort, congratulations. You are the first pioneers of this initiative. I don't think you know yourselves yet. So hang in there. They'll announce it shortly. But congratulations to all of you who participated. Even those who don't become part of the original first cohort are not going to be left alone. There will be continued support to ensure that they get into the next cohort. So we're here for the long haul. Yeah? If we get this right, ladies and gentlemen, the impact of today's gathering will be felt in classrooms, communities, and careers across Uganda for generations to come. With that, I wish you the very best in this event, and I declare officially the Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship in Uganda officially kicked off. Thank you very much.